your guys' Monday was better than mine. Stuck at work, stuck in traffic, gotta love all of it. Hello and welcome everyone to this week's VIA workout at TMC. Um, we're already a little over time. We got plenty of people here. Let's just dive into it. Again, in terms of the script, we are actually going to have to cut out a couple of spots, which is going to be the middle line, the single line, and then the second to last one. So it's just first, second, and fifth lines for the read. I will do some editing on my end to make that visible. But Caitlin, whenever you're ready, start us off.
All right. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. And, I'm gonna pick faith.
Yay! Thank you.
Gotta have faith. You're welcome. Sorry, had to.
I get the chocolate. It's fine. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in this the dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all there is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Whew, mouthful. I pick uh Andrew.
All right. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands to as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge? You would perhaps better understand of what strange things may be. Mars.
Was that Marsh?
Hey there. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the street of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castles and held us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be. Hellas?
Well, finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. And let's keep that rolling on to Roddy.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. I completely understand what you guys were saying earlier. uh, Ariana,
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of the town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Wow, that was hard. Um, Cassidy.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. All right, let's have James.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be. Ah, is it crackling again? Dang it.
Actually, it's not quite crackling. It's doing something weird. I don't know exactly.
Okay,
It's kind of
Sounds
scratchy,
a little
but
bit like crickets.
yeah, yeah.
that's odd. All right, I'll
It's
restart
jingling.
this.
It's jingling a little.
It's jingling.
It's
Okay.
doing something fun. It added to your mood a bit.
It's
I'm just gonna
fun.
say that.
It
It's
sounds
belly
like a
dancing. It's got like the
It
skirt and
sounds like a
everything.
tambourine.
Oh, that's weird.
Has anybody
Because
seen
it's not
my
coming through these at all.
tambourine?
That is
Oh yeah.
odd.
Well, I mean, well, you'll be able to hear it on the playback when you listen back
Yeah.
to it.
It's so
All right.
cool.
Where's the list is buried? Who has it
Yeah, no, not here.
gone?
Reposting it. Hang on, hang on. There it is.
We'll go. Does anybody? That's a really long list. Does anybody need to go sooner rather than later?
I would
Sounds like
prefer sooner rather than later if
okay.
possible.
Okay.
Central time
Okay,
zone,
yeah,
what
go
up?
for it, Avalon. You're up then.
Beautiful. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Michael.
All right. Ah, finally you have come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Oh, allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Okay. Gorin.
All right. Finally, you have come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for a broken deal. Dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Amanda.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of peace, of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root of the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason why all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge that you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be? How about you, Jay?
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Strange thing is, I can't see who's left. Mike?
There's Arrow and Zach.
Arrow.
Hello. Finally, you have come, young master. Hmm. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. Yes, I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with joy and life, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And if you did see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
All right, Zach, last but certainly not least, you're up.
Ba 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 ba. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Alrighty then. So, yeah, unfortunately, we can't get to absolutely everybody who's in here due to school stuff. But let's go ahead and get to the script breakdown. So, the very first thing that we want to determine is what kind of microphone technique we should be using for this kind of script. Um, Got to explain some shorthand. So, um, with the shorthand that we use for microphone technique here for scripts are voiceover versus voice under. So a voiceover microphone technique would put you right up front and center on the microphone. Your voice, your performance is the main important thing somebody needs to be listening to. So you need to be upfront and present during your entire read. That is voiceover. Voice under technique is when you understand that what you're reading is actually secondary to what's going on screen. So you want people, instead of paying attention to your performance, paying attention to what they are being shown. You're going to be more of like the voice over the shoulder here, sort of directing their attention. Each one of those has various different places that they can be used, but in terms of this script for how this one is being used and for what it looks like, what kind of microphone technique do you think this needs?
Definitely, I would
Voiceover.
say voiceover.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
like
sure. Voiceover.
Same.
Right.
Same.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if maybe like there was going to be like some, cinematics playing at that point in time, but definitely voiceover, irregardless. Important information. I didn't say irregardless. I said regardless. I just made noise before it. I
Right.
learned
It was
my
it was
lesson enough.
pre-life. It was
Okay.
pre-life.
Yeah, it was pre-life to
Thank
regardless.
you.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you. I learned my
Well,
lesson with that. My
well,
goodness.
we'll let you off the hook for that one.
Love the energy of that word.
Love the what now?
I'm number 11.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. It wasn't misused. That's perfectly fine. It was not misused. Look, I don't have a problem with the word energy, okay? Energy has a place. That's perfectly fine. I just have a problem with it used as direction. You're not telling anybody anything that way. Anyways, so we got a lot of votes for voice over. And anybody thinking that this might be voice under? Anybody have any questions about how those two would be applied or anything about that? This read needs more dolphin. Okay.
Yeah, like they were saying before, voiceover, the only under element I would say is for I can see a visual being shown as you see the castle when he's saying that he created it. So
It's
even then,
both. Yeah.
Given
Thank you,
I
Mattel. I
don't
missed
Let's
that.
not be crazy. It's not both. It maybe has potential to be either,
mhm,
but it's not
I mean,
both.
it's a character
given
intro.
it's a
It's a
character
character
intro, but
intro.
yeah,
it's also a character that's meant to be a guide in the game.
Right?
If there's anyone you're
True.
supposed to listen to, it's this person. And I think that to me suggests that it should always be voiceover. If you were like an NPC on the street or something, voice under would make a lot of sense, I think. But for this, I think voiceover makes the most.
Yeah, well, even if it was an NPC on the street, you're still technically interacting with them directly. Because all of these are characters, and because this is a strong, well, all of these are theatrical, excuse me, and because this is a strong theatrical presentation for this script, I would say voiceover, even if there was an automatic that went along with it, like, many years ago, the streets of the town flourished with life and joy. Even if it's going into the past and showing you, these things, or if he's like, or this character is pointing to a screen or something that's playing, videos of the town in the past, whatever the case may be, it's still two characters interacting. And everything that this character is saying is important. So this needs to be presented as a voice over. So you are going to be upfront. Your delivery is going to be the main important thing. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this character. What can we tell about the architect?
Well, they obviously know their way around the castle. They were, whether it was literally or like not metaphorically, you know what I'm saying? Whether they literally built this castle, helped build it, or like they like curated it and made it into what it is, like, functionality wise, like they've
Oh,
been very ingrained in this place, so they
okay.
know it very well.
So they literally know the castle.
Yep.
On the
And
actual
Literally.
surface,
Too long
they're
didn't read.
mysterious and benevolent.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to start.
I, it's the low hanging fruit, but we should still collect it.
Mm-hmm.
They also are meant to assist the main character, so they're helpful. They're
I was
I
thinking
mean, again, this is the low hanging fruit, but they're also a guide.
I was feeling like they're kind of like Alfred, like Batman's Alfred,
Mhm.
like kind of
I see
just
that.
the overseer of everything and
Ooh.
holder of important information, obviously knows, holds on to a lot of historical
This is a
information
person.
and
I wouldn't see it as that much. Whatever he is, he designed the castle. This is his baby, his pride and joy, and it's been corrupted. So there's got to be some level of a sorrow in there.
oh sure. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I was
from just
thinking of.
oh,
Go on.
I Just from some of the language, I'm getting either AI or spirit.
Yeah, I
So
don't
some
think
kind
they're
of
human.
disembodied.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, I very much don't think they're human.
yeah,
Right.
given the apparent like fantasy setting, I was thinking it's probably more like some sort of spirit rather than an AI, but
They're
that's just
already
I
dead.
got a
I
little
feel
bit
like
of
they're a
voice of
mystic.
God, a little bit.
I
Yeah,
feel like they're a
some
mystic that's seen like everything. They've seen
Okay.
destruction, they've seen joy.
yeah, like
Okay.
they've been around for a while. They could have even been there well before this particular castle or family, was there. Like they're just I don't want to say like a house elf or something, you know what I mean, but something to that degree, right?
I think they're very trusted. Um,
Yeah,
they
no,
they know what they're doing, and other people know what they're doing.
right.
Okay.
They're notable, right? In
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
community.
I will actually counterject to that just because after hearing Alice, I got the impression of like a Dark Souls NPC read where it was like all crotchety and welcome home, master. And you never ever trust those guys ever. So
Well, maybe you don't,
Okay.
but
They're old and
Well,
bitter, huh?
Right,
so
guys.
just
I'm on my
just just so that
patches
everybody
art.
knows, just so that everybody knows, we are just shotgunning everything we can out there. You're going to choose whatever makes the most sense to you, whatever you can
mhm.
connect with the best. That's going to be
Oh,
that's going to be
absolutely.
your brand of read. So, just want to put that out there just in case anybody might be feeling a little confused with how much is getting thrown out there.
I was
Uh,
almost getting like G-Man Half-Life vibes.
I think that they don't trust very easily. I don't think that they're a trusting person. It seems like they only reveal what they think is necessary to reveal. They're not very forthright with
Would
information.
would protective be the right word? Whether
I
that's
think
for
protective's a
good or
good one.
not, you know?
I think protective's a good one.
okay, protective.
Yeah, that cryptic last line, it's like, "Oh, yeah, like, don't go into some of these doors, or don't mind these," just, it's gonna stare into the horrors of the abyss or something, just don't open those doors, that's fine. Don't open those.
The name Cthulhu doesn't mean anything to you, does it? Don't you
Yeah,
worry about
right,
it.
right, right.
Nah,
It's fine.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Any other thoughts on who this character is? Maybe while you were reading it or when you heard somebody else's read, what were your impressions on them?
gave me the impression, and this may mean absolutely nothing to y'all. It gave me the impression of like Aladdin's genie, and I am the reason why I say it may mean nothing to y'all is because I watched the movie and I'm referring to the my mother tongue like Italian voice actor, so it may be completely different from from Williams.
Well,
So
it definitely can't say I've ever watched Aladdin in Italian. So
yeah,
I
I
mean
mean,
that's
so
your
it could mean nothing, but it's like bombastic, kind of showmanship,
Hmm.
very grand, basically,
Oh, that
very
definitely
cartoonish.
rings true for, yeah,
Hmm.
the
the other
old with a
rendition.
youthful experience. So like an old soul.
Well, I would just
Yeah,
think that
too.
they've been
Like an
around for
immortal
a
spirit?
while. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So they're old, but not
Like
like
elvish or something, right? Like they're gonna be 300
they're
years
the
old
Yeah,
but
avatar.
still look middle-aged or
they're
something.
mature.
yeah.
Ageless?
I have a
Oh,
question for you, Michael.
Yes.
Um, should we consider the grayed out lines in our analyses?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
You need to
so
consider all of the context that you are given needs to be part of your analysis. On top of that, it's not just the stuff that we've graded out that we've only graded out just to save time. That doesn't mean that in your own auditioning that would
okay,
even if that was grayed out in your own auditions, it should still be taken into account. Just
right.
like if there was dialogue from the player character or from other characters in the scene, that should all be factored in. Everything should be factored in.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
well then, having said that, I think they might have a little bit of a mischief sort of streak.
A
Um,
mischievous?
yeah, well, because the end of that second grade outline, except where doors are locked, where of course you will not wish to go. Like it just seems kind of playful almost, as if they're being flippant.
Okay.
And I think that that could be valuable that they have that sort of streak in them.
Yeah, kind of feel like once again they're very ingrained in this like area, kingdom, and or actual castle. Whoever lives there, so they're gonna know all the dirty secrets. They're gonna know the good things, the bad. So yeah, I feel like they're just kind of the protectiveness comes in. Like, no, this is confidential. Like you don't need to worry about that.
Well, I was gonna say it does
They
feel
have
like a
manipulative yet?
person that was playful at one point, but then due to all the hardship and suffering that happened, they kind of gained a more somber growth or outlook on their situation because
So maybe
they look back on like how this place used to be full of so much life and joy, and they seem to like reminisce on that, and then they just hit this somber point of like, yeah, and then the demons came and they just cursed everything, and now everything is gone. Like everything I once appreciated is gone now.
So
So
the
it's like they
unfortunate.
could be young, is that they just gained a hard soul because of all they've seen.
almost like they're a little jaded.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have exploitative slash manipulative on there yet?
Nope, we do not.
That's an interesting read. I see it though.
Yeah, like not I wasn't gonna fully commit to this, but along that same vein, like, whatever is happening, like in my head, I even weaved a little rabbit hole where they maybe were a party too, whatever this is happening. They have access to the castle, intimate knowledge of the castle, and so maybe they're in cahoots and or being controlled otherwise. And so, you know, oh no, plot twist later on,
Maybe.
There you go. I'm leading
Right.
you to
Yeah,
And
doom,
I was
Plot
actually.
twist. I was the
and I
villain
was
the whole
even
that's what I was.
time.
'cause I was even just
Yeah, that's what I
thinking
was
of
thinking
like
with my
he's
read
not
too,
even involved.
Caitlin.
Okay. Okay.
See,
It just
I don't know that I
I
agree
was thinking even
with
just
that
like,
though.
this is maybe something a tale he's made up and it's not like I don't want to say it like definitely didn't happen, but maybe it didn't affect him as much as he'd like to
Twisting
believe.
the
Because
truth.
manipulative
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily mean malicious. It's just taking advantage of something. It's like, oh, this kid wants to see his dad. Maybe I did know his dad, but I'm gonna play this kid's want to see that and his want to be here and use that to do whatever I was trying to do.
Okay. Um, again, whether you agree with any of these or not, that's going to be entirely up to you and your character choices. You're more than welcome to disagree with them, but I'm noting everything that you guys are coming up with just to make sure that we have all of it. Because again, I think any idea could help you come up with something new and different for this character. So now that I think we have a fairly decent idea of who this person is, um, who are they talking to? Who is this person that they are interacting with?
I
The
kind of
protagonist, the hero.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noted like the son of the count. I mean, because he mentions your father, and I mean, I don't know why else they would. I don't. Maybe that's off, but that's what I had written down.
No,
Okay.
I hear you. I
Someone
I was
ambitious,
gonna say
maybe?
like the deposed prince or something to that effect. I guess the son of a count wouldn't be a prince, but the equivalent.
And I saw count, and I was like, well, a count's not really like upper crust of all of that hierarchy, but I guess still notable. I don't know.
It also has
Passionate
to be
and
someone they
ambitious.
respect if they're willing to call them master,
Okay.
or at least see as someone deserving of that title at least.
Okay. Is
Either
who
that
they're
or
talking
someone
to older or younger than them?
I
younger,
picture
I would
younger.
say.
Yeah, I pictured younger as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
I
younger.
pictured
Calls
young
him younger,
hero that's trying to
young
find
master.
themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, like a young adult. That sort of like wibbly wobbly age where like a 14-year-old and a 23-year-old could identify. They just
Yes.
skillfully avoid the number so that it's like
Yes.
maximum appeal.
Hmm.
I put since I was going with like the son of Count Bluebeard. I guess my whole spin was, he's been summoned back to help with the dark matter at hand. Perhaps they left and weren't a part of the family business, but this is like their familial lineage duty is to like care for this kingdom or area or something. So it's
I
kind of like, oh,
inherited.
last resort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty then. Anything else? Any other thoughts of how we could describe who they are discussing all of this with? Okay. Now let's go ahead and talk about this character's emotional state. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? What are you supposed to communicate in at what points of the script?
Well, in the beginning, it's warmth and welcoming. Well, maybe not necessarily warmth, but they are welcoming them in, um, and kind of stating where they are and who they are. Of course, like here we go. Um, in
I
the
think it's
middle. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say, building off of your points, I think in the first section, it's also reassuring the protagonist that they're supposed to be there. Finally, you have come, young master. Like, I've been
Okay.
expecting you. You were supposed to be here.
So
Whether
we
that's
have
a good thing, up for interpretation.
reassurance. So welcoming and
Yes.
reassurance.
So yeah, I definitely have to agree. Yeah, it's warm, welcoming,
Warm.
inquisitive. But I feel like when they're recounting the whole incident, how something that was once a beacon, some sort of safe haven, then got taken away. I feel like it's like warm, welcoming, and then a flashback. Oh my god, I've seen everything. No, I have no
I feel
idea
like
how else to describe it.
I
I
feel
think
like
to
these
add
could.
to that, oh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Go on.
I feel like this might also be, or at least the first couple of sections, come one after the other, with like a player choice in the middle, like it's part of a dialogue tree. So like the architect does that little intro bit, and then maybe the player asks something like, "What happened here? The town is so empty," or something to that effect. And the architect is like, "Well, blah 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 blah." That's what's in the script, right? Blah 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 blah.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
yada
specifically
Okay.
that's what
yada.
was written. Yep.
that's specifically
Intelligible
what it
lore
is.
dump. Yeah. The dungeon master is speaking. Yeah.
The d-
Yeah.
the voice in the sky.
Yeah, no, I would agree with the beginning being welcoming, and
Mhm.
then I think the bit about there probably being dialogue for the main character is helpful to keep in mind. And it gets more solemn, especially since the architect built the castle to be a safe haven, and then it gets taken over. And I did read the grayed out lines.
Mhm.
It does sound like they are desperate for freedom, but they have the presence of mind to not panic about it.
Okay.
So desperate but not frantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've obviously had time to mull this over and kind of
Yeah.
assess the situation, right? And it's not
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
Almost like they're the last one left, sort of vibes.
Avatar Aang.
Okay. So then, so we've got some emotional notes for the first paragraph and for the second one. What about that last one? What about there's a reason that all things are as they are?
The
Arrow
way
says
that
manipulative.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the way that I went with that, and this is something I talked about a little bit before the stream too, but I think that that's like they were challenged by the pro tag, and they're trying to display that they know what they're talking about, and it's not really possible for them to fully convey the breadth of their perception. Um, like I described it as pulling rank earlier, and I think that that's still true. It's you can't understand, and that's why I'm trying to tell you what the right thing is, because you can't get it.
Okay. See, to me, that seems like a really vague warning because it's difficult to bridge the gap with the player character. There's a reason all things are as they are. Because again, this follows along with a line that says, "You may go anywhere you wish in the castle, except where the doors are locked, where of course you will not wish to go." And so, the natural question is, well, why would I not wish to go there? Well, there's a reason all things are as they are. It's kind of like, yeah, I'll tell you when you're older, right? You don't
Mm.
have enough experience to really
Mm.
understand this warning. So
Mhm.
I, I'm going to push back. I really don't feel that this character is trying to be manipulative. I think they're trying to give all the information that they can with the amount of knowledge that the player character has at that point.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's
What
like
like,
if
you're
there's
gonna
no
know
point.
when you go
Yeah,
there,
there's
but
like
it's
no
hard to it's
point
hard
in
to describe.
telling you everything because if you want to know, you'll have to like slam your face against the wall and discover it
Right.
for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
if they can't
Yeah, I
describe it? What if they're
Yeah.
what if they're
Exactly.
they're like what if their hands are tied in some way and it's not possible for them to explain what they know?
See, for me, I actually read that last paragraph as sincerity. Like they sincerely
Mm.
want to help the player character. They sincerely want to give them the warning. It's just they can't really bridge that gap.
Maybe the dark heart has silenced
right,
them
and
or, has caused that to just be like redacted,
Right,
any
right.
helpful information against it or something.
Sorry, Arrow, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm really bbad about
Oh no, it's fine.
knowing
It's
when to
it's
cut
it's the
in.
nature it's the nature of
Um,
Discord. Go ahead.
um, manipulative isn't always a bad thing.
Hmm.
Sometimes people need a little nudging, but you can't or are not able to tell them because if you tell them, they will not learn. So parents manipulate kids all the time and not necessarily in a bad way. So just because you're being manipulative, it's not always a negative
Right.
connotation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just think that manipulative, even though it doesn't always come, like it isn't always malicious, comes with its own negative connotation.
That's true.
So
That's
I
fair. Yeah.
think I think if you're gonna make a note for yourself, this is why I really like the idea of getting really really specific about what you have to say. Um, uh, like, how would you really describe that? I think what you're going for, and correct me if I'm wrong, is instead of manipulative, they're being avoidant. Like they're not they're trying to give them something that they just or they're trying to steer them away from something that they just don't have a concept of right now.
Yeah, it's like a veiled guidance. Like, yeah, I would say so. Like you're avoiding stating the obvious. It's kind of like I don't know. I was getting from this character like the person they're speaking to is kind of a bit of a dense, if that makes sense. Maybe a
Yeah.
little airheaded.
Hmm.
And so they're kind of having to be like, okay, let me walk you through this. Um, kind of being a little bit manipulative, trying to be like, look, this is what I'm trying to tell you. So I don't know. But I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. Avoidance is a good point.
Okay.
This
like
is
they're beating
just
around the bush. Is that what you're trying to say?
I feel like it's an omittance
Understatement.
of truth rather
this is
than
just
a lie.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is just the Emperor from Baldur's Gate 3, by the way.
I
It
haven't
is.
played
I
that.
haven't gotten that far.
Same. I'm one of the what is it, 60% of people who haven't gotten past Act One.
I don't have a
Same.
PS5, so I just have
No,
to stare
I
longingly.
thought that was the exact opposite actually, Mike. The majority of people have finished the game.
No, no, actually,
Really?
only like I think it's only like 40% of people have gotten past Act One.
Well, that's not me. I have 900 hours, so it's not an addiction. I can stop when I want.
Right,
Go ahead.
right.
Sure thing.
Okay.
Of course you can.
Now let's break down that last paragraph here, that this last sentence actually, because
Oh
yeah,
boy.
it's written very very classically, I should say. Um, so there's a reason that all things are as they are. There's a reason that things are the way that they are. I think that's pretty apparent. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge? I think so. Did could also be replaced with if you could. And if you could see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. Does that help clarify it a little bit? So did can directly be changed to if you could.
Basically, if you were in my shoes.
Yes. Yeah. If you knew what I knew, it would make perfect sense to you, is what he's trying to say. He, she, they, this character. But but yeah, that I at least that's my best interpretation of it. I'm pretty confident in that, but if you guys seeing it in a completely different way, please let me know. But I know that that last sentence is definitely a challenge, and I just had to keep it in the script. I really had to. If you guys come here and aren't challenged with something, you're not really working out. So,
Well, and we're gonna see
Oh
weird
boy.
scripts like
oh
this
yeah,
from time to time
oh yeah.
where the words just don't make any sense.
Right, right. Yeah. But the thing is it's always the context. And usually if you break things down slowly and if you take a look at, alternate ways to sort of word things or fit things together, um, it might help make more sense. The other thing that you could do, and this is something that I encourage as a habit for any auditioning, is look up the client. So, of course, when you receive this as an email, there's going to be the direction that's up there, which shockingly we didn't touch this time, but we'll get to it in just a bit. Um, but there's also probably going to be some kind of information about the product or about the project and about the client. And you should definitely do some research. YouTube, Google, heck, social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. Look up as much information as possible. Get as much context as you can because that can also help you decipher what the heck is even going on in this script. Who you're talking about, who you're talking to, who you're trying to embody, the whole scope of the project, the world that you're in. Yes, yes, Faith. Google is your best friend in terms of arming you with everything that you need. Um, Speaking of which, I would also say that um, if you have issues constructing a character or figuring something out, um, tie it into other media that you've consumed that you're familiar with. Look up pictures, look up music, look up whatever you want to give you as much uh, context and information for your character as possible. Um, you don't have to just jump in with the words on the page right in front of you. You can do whatever you need to get yourself into character, but whatever you do, just do it. Speaking of which, once again, I hope you have all noted down your decisions, your choices for this character, who you're talking to, and generally their motivation here. And because you're going to be communicating that before your reads. So before we jump in, does anybody have any questions, comments, anything like that about the script that either we did go over or have missed?
Since this is for a game,
Hmm.
I just I mean, because I've seen both, I guess, but should the pacing of it be like, does that particularly matter, right? Like, or because in animation, a lot of that's like quicker delivery depending on the scene and the cartoon and all that stuff. But should it, like, are you allowed the big long pauses here and there, or should it be relatively quick and even paced? Does that?
So so when it comes to video game versus like animation, it depends on the project because some people do want something that's fast, quick, snappy, and is going to keep anybody with the shortest attention span hooked in as long as possible. But I would say that for an audition, it's always a good idea to bring the world to life as much as possible. Be as natural and normal of a human being as you can with your characters, unless it is asking you to do something specific. So if the script is telling you that this person is a spaz and just cannot control themselves, then blast right through it. Have as much fun with that as you could want. But unless that is like specifically asked for, be as grounded and invite as possible to invite people into this world. Your job as a character actor is to not sound like a character, but instead to invite your listener to live in the world you're constructing. They need to see you not as a person behind the microphone, but as a human being that they're interacting with, as somebody who's alive in that world. So I would hazard to say that that is likely your safest choice, but do make it personal to yourself. If you're going to speed up and slow down at certain points, perfectly fine. Just don't drag it on too long. Don't lose the listener's attention, And if you need to, give yourself a lead in as well. Does
Oh,
that help out?
yeah, I definitely do agree with all that. So it was like reading the script over and over.
Hmm.
Like I have a like I have an understanding of what's going on, but I'm struggling to find the perfect voice for the character I'm trying to convey, you know?
Okay.
Part of me kind of wants to put on like an English accent. Another part of me wants to be all like old Haggerty, and then the other part of me wants to be like ethereal. My first instinct is to go with the English accent, but I feel like 'cause I'm hearing like all these other people do their own interpretations, see like, oh, is what I'm doing wrong? You know, does this suit the character more? Like the voice, I have a clear idea of what the voice is, it just can't come out.
Okay.
Well,
So,
I will say, oh,
oh yeah, no, go ahead, Cassidy. Go ahead.
just that, well, it's not so much about, like, focus on your interpretation, not everyone else's. I don't know if there's really a wrong answer in voice acting.
Yeah, um, but it's like I have the voice, it just won't come out.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
when it's not your turn, you could theoretically just mess around,
yeah,
like
yeah,
in your
absolutely.
booth, just with your mic off, just screw around and see what happens. Say a bunch of stuff. Don't even worry about the script. Just try to like stay in the voice and just see how things feel and if anything comes to you. That's something that I do sometimes if I'm struggling to find it.
Yeah,
Um,
oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't know
no,
you were.
you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. The issue that I would say is really common with choosing an accent for a character is twofold. One, you better be able to keep it up for a long period of time, and two, you better be able to convince native speakers that that is your actual accent. You can kind of get away with that a little bit more in a fantasy setting like this, um, but I wouldn't necessarily count on it. Then again, there are some pretty terrible accents that are used in some pretty prominent games. Just play Skyrim. But in terms of the first thing that you want to go with, you definitely want to go with something that's going to be comfortable and natural for you. Um, do not compare yourself to other people's reads and their interpretations because that is wholly their own. Your experience and what you bring to the character is entirely separate from that. And much like was said, the first thing that comes to your head, try to go with that, refine it a little bit. But here's the thing: if it's too much, if you can't quite get that right, then choose one aspect of it. So, for instance, if you wanted to go for somebody who sounded a little bit older and maybe had a slight accent to them, and you don't think you can actually do the entire performance that way, then choose one or the other, either the older or the accent.
Or the younger. Yeah, just gonna take some time to experiment, you
And
know?
yeah, and that's
It
okay
Well,
is
have my
also,
mic
always
muted.
it
and
is
that's
always
perfectly
an
fine.
option, especially in settings like this one, to just use your normal voice too. Even though it's a
And yeah,
fantasy game, even though you have an American accent, it's totally fine to just use your natural voice.
absolutely, because it's more important that you get into the character's headspace than you
Oh, for
focus on
sure.
the voice that's coming out of that's coming out of your mouth. And yeah, Arrow, if you want to if you want to try a few different voices and stick with one that feels right, as long as you can get yourself in the mindset of your character, that's perfectly fine to do.
Well, thank you for that.
All right. So I hope you've all noted down your choices that you want to go with for your delivery because that's going to help us focus up our feedback for you. Does anybody else have any other questions, comments, anything like that before we dive in? Okay, let me go ahead and grab that list again, which is going to start with Caitlin. So, Caitlin, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay, so the direction that I am taking this is they're kind of like an omnipotent middleman to, a figurehead of this castle and or kingdom. Once again, kind of an OP Alfred to Batman, which Alfred's already OP, but anyway, they're kind of a catch-all everything. Like they store vital information about the history, the people, relations, castle grounds, things like that. The state of things. They have become like family. They are, fully ingrained in this particular place and people. Um, they probably, to me, they seem ageless. Like again, likening it to an elf. Being hundreds of years old and looking middle age. Definitely not strictly human. They've witnessed again a lot of histories and everything, and have a particular fondness for this castle because they helped make it what it is now, and to see it, taken over is just horrifying. Um, I'm talking to the son of Count Bluebeard. It's in their family lineage and history to protect this area and or this kingdom. So they're actually last resort of the family tree, but they are here to help rectify the situation. So there we go. Ah, finally, you have come, young master. Oh, I see that you are curious about your father. Oh, allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up. What did you all think of that read? All right, you stunned him. Way to go.
Pew, 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 pew. Oh no, it's either stun them in a great way or in a terrible, Just kidding.
So, what were you going for with the very last line?
I how do I put it? Hold on, let me see what my little cliff notes. Okay. Well, I this isn't originally what I had thought, but I went for the kind of the dark heart is listening. Like there are things going on. Like I can't be fully transparent at the moment, right? So this kind of vague warning. Um, that you really don't understand what's going on here yet, and I'm not saying that in a mean dismissive way, but the strange things that was kind of for me, and I know y'all can see me so it's different, but the strange things kind of looking around, like we're being watched, like wink wink, like
And you said that was a last second change?
uh
That wasn't your
the
initial reaction to that?
I always
No?
wanted to accentuate strange things, but they're just because it's strange things that kind of stands out, but the dark heart being present and or hearing or seeing what's going on, yes, that was once everyone started kind of talking, that came in later.
Okay. So if you want to go with that, I would say get up close, get conspiratorial. You're whispering in their ear. It's really, it's like now you've kind of brought them in. It's like there's a reason that all things are the way that they are, right? Like uh, allow yourself to mold the scene to what it is you're trying to deliver. And because to me, I didn't really get that from that last line. I,
Okay.
I kind of got like you were unsure as to exactly how you wanted that to be
Which
delivered.
is
It was
fair.
it was more mysterious and kind of like a show. It was a lot of showmanship in that whole thing,
Sure.
and I didn't get quite as much. Oh, the dark heart is listening.
Okay.
So if that is the case, bring it way down. Talk to
Okay.
them one on one.
Okay.
Keep it quiet. Be sincere. Look around a little bit. Right, like paint the scene more.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I
Okay. All
feel
right.
like hold
Oh
on.
no.
I feel like the middle line there, the first half of that,
Uh-huh.
I didn't get life and joy out of that.
Okay.
And maybe that was you didn't want to make it sound that way, but you know what? When I read that, I think you want to kind of reflect, that it was a happy time
Yeah. Yeah.
until and
Yes.
then there's a
Yes.
turn that happens there, and
Right.
I didn't hear the turn. It sounded dark for the
Okay.
whole line.
Okay. Yeah. No, I That was my intention, but yes, noted. Got it. Will do.
From the top, let's hear it again.
Okay, all right. So I just timing. Okay. Ah, finally, you've come, young master. Hmm, I see that you are curious about your father. Oh, allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up.
The second, excuse me, with the second section, you almost sounded angry with until a demon. The rest of that line, I thought that was awesome. I actually really liked that. I don't know if anger was the intention, but to me, it sounded almost like it was through gritted teeth,
Yes.
and I thought that made it really, really interesting that you would have that anger because you worked so hard for joy and life. Created
Yes.
this sanctuary of happiness, and they ruined it.
Yeah. That is. Thank you. Appreciate that.
I liked your take on the last line.
Thank you.
Was nice, a nice tone.
A little more conspiratorial, a little bit.
Yeah, the conspiracies were shown.
Do
Well,
you
implied. Implied.
do you visualize your character physically doing anything?
Are you talking about in this instance or just generally speaking?
In this instance specifically, but it also
Okay.
as a general practice,
Well,
I guess. I don't
sure,
know.
sure. Yeah. Definitely try to, right? So it just okay in the first section I picture the young master standing in the middle of a foyer of this castle. I'm coming from another, well, no, I'm walking down the stairs. Oh, like finally you've come. I see them staring at a portrait of, their father. And that's, I stand next to them, oh, I see you're curious about them. And then let me introduce myself. So I'm standing close to them, talking to them, introducing, and then waving my hand around, sanctuary of peace and happiness. The second part of it, it's more of like a cutscene type thing, but again, I'm still in close proximity to them. And then the last one is me leaning even closer and speaking with them. And maybe we're still in the foyer walking around looking at portraits or something. But yeah, it's all kind of contained to that room, but that's where my visualizations had kind of gone.
Okay.
Well, I'll be honest. I think for the most part, you really hit it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
If I was going to have you do anything different, um, you kind of snuck in. I see you're curious about your father a little. Yeah, it feels like you snuck it in. It feels a little disconnected with the scene that um, that you
Okay.
were painting here. So I
Okay.
think I would like to hear you just do the very first paragraph again,
Okay.
and I'd like to hear you sort of like walk up. Ah, I see you curious about your father. I'd like to hear what it is that's going on in the scene.
Okay.
So
All
just
right.
just take that first paragraph one more time.
Okay. Ah, finally, you've come, young master. Ah, I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Still feel a little sneaky? little sneaky sneak. Other things that have changed?
You see, the thing is, I think you could break it up with a little bit of time in between.
Okay.
Finally, you've come, young master. You said you're walking down the stairs. Are you walking down the stairs while you're saying it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
because
yes.
you immediately cut from one to the next to the next.
Okay.
I don't get a sense of scene for what's going on there.
And I think I just felt like that, not nervous energy, but
You
well,
broke two rules here so far. I mean,
okay. Anyway,
you might as well continue now.
no,
You're already down the path.
no, no, no.
Dan rule and Alex violation.
No need to go for no need to go for a triple crown. We're
Hat
good.
trick.
It's all good. Okay. Good gracious.
But the thing, so the only thing I'm really going for, and again, to be fair, I like the way that you painted the scene in general. I'm just getting really nitpicky here. Is you could really open
But it
up your
makes a
character's
difference.
actions a lot more. Like you
Yeah.
can you don't have to run right through every line in the paragraph. It sounds unnatural if you do.
Yeah.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. Right?
Yeah.
Like it sounds weird. It sounds disparate.
Yes.
Like you're choosing a bunch of things from all over the place. If you give yourself a little bit more time and you feel out the scene a bit more, it's much easier to communicate. So
Yes.
don't be afraid to
Makes
take
sense.
some time in between your sentences. Feel your character's actions. Um, one of the most interesting directorial sessions I remember ever having was I went through like physical blocking with people, like what were they doing, and I had them act out the specific actions they were going to take during their delivery. So something to consider for the future.
Yeah. No,
But with
makes
how
makes
many
complete
people are
sense.
here, I liked what you did. We'll leave that there. If you want to stick around until afterwards, well, I'd be more than happy to really break that down with you a bit more. But let's
Okay,
go ahead
cool.
and move it right along for now to Faith.
Thanks.
You there, Faith?
Oh dear. Okay. Hi. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear? Hi.
Yes, yes. So go ahead, tell us about your
uh,
character, who you're talking to, why you're saying what you're saying, and then give us a read.
yeah. So she's not human. Ancient spirit guide type. Um, maybe the father entrusted them with guiding the MC on their quest because maybe the father didn't succeed in doing that. And I imagine her being uh English. I imagine her being like acting like a big sister to the main character. So, like, warm and guiding the main character through this very heavy quest of saving the world. So, yeah.
Okay, let's hear it.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect. Count. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up. What did y'all think?
I will say first and foremost, the line "the dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive." I really liked the delivery of that. Like it's I felt the emotion of it, right? Of being held captive, like helpless, kind of thing. That I really enjoyed that. So
Thank you.
you're trying to be like very warm, like a sisterly figure, right? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely feel like that needs to be that that emotional engagement needs to be turned up, because if you're trying to be a sisterly figure, obviously maybe not sisters exactly, but there's going to be this more intimate and closeness and everything. Like, obviously, I've spent every day together, but it felt friendly. It felt warm, but maybe not quite sisterly. Like, I feel like there needed like this. The first section had a little bit like too even keeled, right? With like the
Mhm.
kindness and everything. So I feel like, and like they told me some pauses, like finally you've come young
Yeah.
master, like pause there, things like that. Put those, let punctuation, do its thing and help out with like switching between emotions, whether that's still warm and friendly, but maybe, one line is just more like hello, and then the next one's like I am the they're very proud of being the assistant and everything. Maybe that has a little bit different, warm and friendliness to it, but just crank that up a little bit more.
Okay.
During your character breakdown and what you were trying to deliver, not gonna lie, it seemed like there was a bit of uncertainty on some stuff, and that bled into the performance.
Mhm.
So, what I would say for your next take, just a little more confidence in your choices, I guess. So that way that there's no uncertainty. You know what you're doing. You know what you're trying to go for in terms of relating to the MC.
Mhm. Okay.
But yeah.
One
Kind
last.
of,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mithril. Go ahead.
uh, kind of pretty much the same with Roddy, but kind of piggybacking as I was, I was hearing the reading a bit, and I know, yeah, we're reading words, but kind of like with what Mike was saying earlier, just kind of work on claiming the character and bringing the listener into the world a bit. If you can work on that transition a bit, then I think it'll be great. The the sentimentalness and the pride of the position is there, and the friendliness. That's pretty much what I got. Uh, just try to work on being the character just a little bit more.
Also, when it comes to many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, and then when you hit until a demon cursed these lands, it sounded more like you were embarrassed at that point than you were, I don't know,
Oh,
sad or
okay.
disappointed or anything like that. Um,
Okay.
because you started off with some stutteriness until a demon cursed these lands. That comes off as
Yeah.
embarrassment.
Okay.
Like if you want this to sound like you're actually personally emotionally invested into it and very much so affected by it, it has to be sorrowful until a demon cursed these lands. Right? You need to give
Yeah.
yourself contrast. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy. Like communicate the life and joy, and then deflate for that second one. Give us that emotional contrast so we can see that it's really emotionally heavy for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and one last thing, just a real quick note: don't be afraid to muddy up some of the words a little bit. So, for example, like instead of "you have come," that sounds really reedy with your particular character choice. You can make that say "you've come." You can use contractions there. You're still getting the same idea across, but it's not going to sound as reedy. Now, if you can find a way to make that work verbatim the way it's written without sounding that way, that great. But if you're having trouble, finding it where it's not to you, it doesn't sound like it's coming out naturally. Like I don't talk that way. You can change some of those a little bit.
Mhm. Okay.
Audiobook, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But for games and animation stuff like that, if that particular wording doesn't fit your characterization of the character, you can play with that a little bit.
Okay.
From the top, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. What did y'all think of that one?
I have a question. So,
Yes?
what just like I probably what let me back up. What are you seeing? Like what's give me your visualization as you're seeing it as it's playing out.
I see uh me in a castle, uh like uh English, come on. Uh again, coming out to meet the main character who is this maybe young teen boy. Uh and I knew that they were there because they wanted answers about their father. Maybe their father went missing or something, and uh, but the father entrusted me with the task of guiding this little child, and um, it's a heavy task. So I'm trying to guide them in warmth.
So, but so you've come out to greet them, and y'all are having this conversation like outside of the castle entrance, basically, like the front doors kind of thing, like on the
Yeah.
stoop. Okay, I gotcha. Okay, cool. I was just curious what your
Okay.
visualization was, since like I got my specificity. You know what I mean? I'm just curious what everybody's is,
Okay.
but
So, something that I noticed this time around that was mildly present in your previous takes, but much more prominent in this one, is a little bit of like a laugh or cough just before some of your lines. In fact, it was before many of your lines. Allow
Ooh.
me to introduce myself. I am the architect. You had this sort of like cough laugh thing um, just before hitting some of these, and that that sounds like insecurity.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you
Okay.
were going for with it, but it comes off as very insecure.
Okay.
So why don't you just give us a retake of the very first paragraph, just those first set of lines?
So just the greeting,
Yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Should I continue? Sorry.
No, 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 no. What did y'all
Okay.
think of that one? Okay. I'll go. That sounded much more well put together.
Okay.
Um, how long have you been doing VO for again?
Very new. Started taking coaching sessions last year, but I've been
Okay.
acting in community school theater before that.
Okay. Okay. Well, for your experience with VO, I
Mm.
really liked the change that you gave. Um, I felt that that fit a lot more than what you were doing previously, and I feel you cleaned up that scene much better.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm gonna say I think we're good to go ahead and move along.
Okay.
All right, moving it right along. Andrew, you are up. Let us know your character, who you're talking to, why you're saying what you're saying, and then get into it.
All right. My first thought was the AI, but I think I'm actually gonna switch to a more humanoid character. So I've gone with this is the Immortal Guardian of the area, and he had made some alliance with Captain Bluebeard, or sorry, Count Bluebeard, and he has set himself up as the guardian of this area and is very much annoyed by the demon coming into his turf, basically. All right. So there we are. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge? You would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. Opening it up. What are you guys' thoughts? Okay. I'll break the ice.
I'd need to hear this again.
How very kind of you, Ellis.
No, there's something I just can't put my finger on it.
Okay.
Same.
So thing is it came off a bit more stilted to me than I think you wanted it to.
All right.
Um, you have the same emotional space for almost everything that you're saying, especially in that first paragraph.
All right.
You're blasting right through all of that, and you're keeping it all on the exact same level. Again, you need to have a scene there, and I need to hear you move through that scene.
Hmm. Maybe I just need to change my scene because I had a scene.
Either that, or just slow it down a little bit more.
All right.
You don't need to blast through it. Just because it's all one paragraph doesn't mean that you need to rush through the entire thing.
All right.
Let's hear it again.
All right. Well, finally you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as a revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There's a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge? You would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
Round two. Let's get some thoughts in.
So, I don't know if this is the intention. Does this bother you as a character?
Which part?
Specifically, what's it? That many years ago, the second thing.
Well, the very first line of that I did as, or my mind was, it's he's remembering how things once were. So it was
Right.
almost a fondness for something he can't go back to. And then,
Okay, but it does have some sort of significance to you.
yes.
Okay, because no, the fuck, it's not. Sorry, I read the chat. Um, uh, you threw me off so hard. No, but okay. What I'm getting from this
Hmm.
is kind of a preacher who wasn't there and is telling the story to someone who also wasn't there.
All
So if we
right.
can ramp up that personal investment just a little more,
All right.
and also, I mean, this is just a really personal thing. Um, can we slow this down just the tiniest bit for little old me?
All right.
Yeah. That was going to be my main point of critique. Still needs to be slowed down a bit.
I love listening to your lines because I always want to. I look forward to hearing that southern drawl, and he nailed it when he said, "You got a like a priestliness going." But I'm just sitting there like this guy's like standing there like you're polishing a shotgun while you're telling the story. It's like I'm really mad and pissed about this, and if you don't take the shotgun away from me and do it, what needs to be done, I will. But I'm
Yeah,
I'm not a priest guy,
I'm
and I
I'm
I don't need to be going out there and venturing and doing this.
I'm definitely going to second Ellis's. You need to have way more personal engagement on that second paragraph. Way more.
All right.
It needs to mean way more to you. Whenever you're
All
ready.
right.
Whole thing from the top.
Hmm. Well, finally you have come, young master. I see that you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. Hmm. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
Okay. Anybody can disagree with me if you feel otherwise, but I still feel like in that second paragraph, all you're really doing is telling a story that you've heard secondhand.
Hmm.
To add on to that transition was a bit rough. From the hold up, look back at the script. Like right before he mentioned the demons,
Hmm.
like it was full of life and joy until a demon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was that instantaneous like crash that you did, or like gear shift. Where, what is your character feeling about that? What are you feeling about it?
Well, like I was saying earlier, first line is remembering how things were,
Hmm.
um, and then it's immediately, well, like you said, crashing down into the bringing back down into reality of, and then that jerk came through.
Okay, so you're feeling anger over it.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, I think what's really painting the scene as sort of like a secondhand story that you're telling is that you're really theatrical with it right off the bat.
Hmm. All right.
Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands. Right? Like it's
All right.
that instant crash that I think needs to be smoothed out. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal.
Hmm. All right.
Yeah,
You
I
see,
was
the
one thing.
transition needs to be more gentle.
Hmm. Yeah.
And again,
Fully
emotions are
agree.
complicated with human beings, right? So it's never just one thing. It's not just being angry. Um, you feel angry and betrayed and sad
Hmm.
and insert, rider emotion with it at the
Hmm.
same time. So be mindful of that. Your character may be angry about that, but also what? Annoyed that they can't do anything about it, or sad that things have changed so much. Like, what else are they feeling at the same time?
All right.
That's what you need to
And
communicate.
then, a-
Go
and
ahead,
then
Ellis.
another thing to consider too is when we remember things, even if like in our memory we flash from like the good time to immediately the bad time, it still takes time for that emotion to manifest in our reactions.
Hmm. All right. All right. I think
So
and yeah, I'll do what Chris's suggestion of just go back to how I normally talk.
let's try that. Um, but do end of the first paragraph and the middle
Mm.
paragraph only.
And all right, so starting at I
I
created.
created this castle as a sanctuary through till holds us captive.
All right. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Until many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy. Until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive.
Okay. How was that section? Ooh.
Oh, I have a tiny nitpick. There was that phantom until, but otherwise, you ate, bro. You cooked. You served. Moi.
Agreed.
Wait,
There was a lot
Phantom
more
until?
attachment to it.
Yeah, you added in until at the beginning of until many years ago.
All right, all right.
But other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah, I was gonna say
you
that.
cooked, my good sir.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Much
Much
better.
improved. Yes.
Yay.
See, this is the dangers of putting on a voice. Sometimes you can get so caught up in trying to sound right with it that you
Mhm.
lose what you're trying to communicate. So, be real careful. Don't let it distract you from your choices. Anyway, good work. Let's go ahead and move it right along to Mateo.
I'm going to. I mean, I have already turned off the camera because it eats at my connection. It could give me a couple of problems still. Maybe while I'm talking, you let me know. So choices. I decided to. I am a voice of God like entity. I am a spirit in the castle. Like not just because of the curse, but because like I've always been one. I've been bound to the castle as a servant, like being able to be everywhere at the same time. Because of that, I am immortal, and I have seen all the other servants and people of the of the castle die, like when all the food shortages started to become an issue. um I still like as a personality, I still have a grade of like showmanship and like kind of an upbeat nature. So the that is how I want to tackle the first paragraph with, especially the first line, with a little bit of showmanship. Um, Another big note is that I am very well aware of what I am asking to the young master, to the young man, which is basically I'm giving him a quest. I'm asking him to save the entire castle, myself and everyone else. Um, so I, when I'm speaking to him, especially in the second paragraph, I'm very um I mean, I want to say serious, but like very kind of stoic, reminiscing of the times that were. Um, and in the
Mateo, I
third
love the
line, yes.
detail. I didn't want a full script breakdown, just your general
Sorry.
idea of your
Oh, okay, okay,
character, motivation, and who you're talking to. Then dive in.
okay, okay, okay. Okay, that's fine then. Okay, let's go. Oh, finally, you've come, young master. I see that you're curious about your father. Well, allow me to introduce myself first. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as a revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive to this very day. But there is a reason that all things are as they are here.
Oh, did we lose him?
Potentially.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
Fuck me running, dude.
It's the dark heart.
It is.
It took hold.
Last paragraph. Go for it.
Okay. But there is a reason that all things are as they are here. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
Okay, let's get some feedback. What did you guys think of
Did that get
read?
through?
Yes, you did.
Yes. The first paragraph, which you so kindly gave us, quite the description, and I love that. Being a wordy person myself, but the gusto and showmanship you were talking about, I don't feel like it was like I don't feel like you met that is with as much enthusiasm as you had intended, and so I'll say for that at least, I I definitely want to hear more of that bravado, showmanship, pride, kind of delivery. So just punch that up, like, if you felt like you were bringing it, just go well beyond that. So, really
Okay.
bring up that showmanship. Yeah. The exaggerated, I guess, if you will. Sometimes you have to exaggerate to get to land where you wanted it to be, right? So I think for that first section, do that.
Yeah, your second and third paragraphs are fine, but yeah, definitely exaggerate the showmanship in the first. So just retake that first paragraph whenever you're ready. Uh-oh. Looks like we have some connection issues.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my connection to stop being an asshole.
Well, I mean, you're coming through okay now.
Okay. Okay. Ah, finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Well, allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace.
Um, how do you feel about the castle?
It was a great thing when I made it. It's a little shit now because of the curse, but still pretty good.
So there's some pride there?
Yeah?
I created this castle. Own it. Take ownership of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Show some pride in what you've done and in who you are. Especially if you want to be if you're really going for the showy sound. Like if you want to sound like you are theatrical, then there's a little bit a little bit of narcissism in that. Ah, yes. Allow
Mm-hmm.
me to
Okay.
introduce myself. I am the architect. You see what I mean? Like there's a lot of emphasis on
Mm-hmm.
you and being the center of attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, um just give us the first paragraph from allow me to introduce myself to happiness and peace.
Okay.
Play up your own personal pride in this and be really showy with it. I need you to turn that up to 11.
Okay. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace.
Okay, less yelly, more showy. Allow me to introduce
Okay.
myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant.
You were so pleased with yourself, like the
Yes,
most
yes.
pleased ever, and you have been itching for this young master to be here so you can be like, "Ah, fresh captive audience. I am amazing."
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Pulls out the powder. Right? Like, um, I'm serious though. Like, don't
Uh-huh.
be loud. Right? Don't be
Well, I
loud.
thought that, I mean,
Just
I
be
thought that
big.
loud helped it, to be honest.
Loud would if you were speaking to a crowd, but you're speaking to one person.
Okay. Roger that.
Cassidy, ta-da!
Same thing.
Same
From
thing.
allow
That
to peace.
Yep. From allow me to happiness and peace.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace.
And you nailed that delivery so much better than you have in the past. Really, really enjoyed that one.
It was
Much more
delightful.
showy. Yes, absolutely
There we
delightful.
go.
All right, moving
Thanks,
it
guys.
right along. We are on
The rest
to
was fine
yeah.
because I lost a lot of what you all said. Like I heard only feedback on the first part, so I don't
Well,
know anything
yeah.
about if you talked
See,
about the rest.
that's the thing. If there was stuff about the rest that we wanted to tell you, we would have told you.
Oh, okay.
It would have
No,
come up.
no. I mean that maybe I lost it while my connection was going awry. So
Nope.
yeah.
Nope. You done good.
Okay. Thanks.
Ellis Bertrellis, you are up whenever you're ready. Let's hear your thoughts on your character, who you're talking to, why you're saying what you're
Okay.
saying, and go for it.
Cool. Yeah, to me, I'm talking to really as on a I don't want to say this. To me, this guy is just, he's a hotshot kid. And you know what? Ordinarily, I might not even deal with him, but I really messed with your father, bro. So you know what? You might be all right. And then, the castle is my pride and joy. So even if I don't even necessarily care about the people in it, but that castle, it deserves better than this. Been around for a minute, so I got time to sort this out. Finally, you've come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Ellis, how does your
Well, you,
character feel about being held captive in the castle?
it's very boring.
Okay, I want to hear that on and holds us captive.
Okay.
I need to hear your emotional investment on you being captive.
Okay.
I'll also say the the last line of the first paragraph, I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. what were you trying to bring to that line? Like, is that, were you, is it like, I created this castle, like I'm proud of, what it is? Or was it you just stating a fact? Like, what was kind of the emotionality or engagement tied to that particular line?
For that line, I was trying to just sort of give the kid a reason to trust me, you know what I mean? Like, maybe, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I know that you'll buy it.
Okay, I got you. Um, well, if that's the case, like definitely, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more differentiation or accentuation to that. Like put a little bit more emotional heft, whether it's true or not, if you can
Yeah, I feel you.
portray that nuance in there too, that would be that's one of my only
Gotcha.
things. Hmm.
Feel it, feel it. So, created this castle and holds us captive.
It's whenever you're ready.
I'm getting a sip of water. Lily, you've come, young master. I see that you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up. Thoughts?
You definitely delivered on my particular piece of direction, so that was nice. And I also I loved the way the whole and holds us captive. The boredom. Like holds us captive. Like whoop de doo. Like this has been going on for too long now. We're bored. So I thought you nailed that one for sure. The many
Glad.
years ago, the many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life.
Okay.
Some people have been delivering it, really like flourished with life and joy, like, oh, reminiscing, wistful kind of thing. I feel like are you aiming to take more of a like sad looking back
Yeah,
kind of?
for
Yeah,
me
okay.
yeah, for me, there's, like it used to be cool here, not anymore.
I gotcha. No, that was great. Like that was well delivered in that case for sure.
Stay hydrated, folks.
Indeed, indeed. Um, I I really like the subtleties that you added with the specific places we were talking about, and I really feel that your delivery worked that time.
Dude, it's my lucky hammer, bro.
Yeah, I don't really have any extra notes for you. I think you've done a fantastic job, and I'm really confident in moving along. Unless somebody wants to hear something different.
I have no shame. It doesn't have to make sense.
I This doesn't warrant a redo, like, by any stretch of the imagination, just something to consider, I guess. You're talking about you love this
I hear it.
castle, like, the castle is like, "Boom, that's Bay." But does anyone still say that? Gosh, sorry. Um, but, so the "Finally you've come, young master," I could see that also being delivered like, "Finally, like, you've come, young," what, like, more annoyed, like, "I've been waiting, where have you been?" kind of thing, like, "Help me fix this castle situation," but again, doesn't warrant a redo, just something to consider with the direction you took
I
it.
feel it. I feel it. Does anyone have places they've gotta be?
Just us on the production side. That's all.
Douche. Alright, give me a
Uh,
second.
castle lit. The cap. The castle is
Dude,
haunted.
oh,
I love all of this. It's so cringy. It's great. Um,
I
that's why
kind
I
of
love
like
dad
these
jokes so
chats
much.
make me so happy, dude. They
Well,
drop my ADHD like crazy. I fuck
stick
with it.
around if you can stick around for post stream stuff. Then let's have you do a pirate move
Yeah.
afterwards. But let's
Yes,
let
dude,
other
I'd be
people
so down
have
for that.
their chances.
For
Speaking
sure.
of which, Roddy, you are up. Rising from the depths comes Roddy.
Ah,
All right,
all
remember,
right.
remember,
Mm-hmm.
all we need your character, your motivation, who you're talking to. I should clarify that for everyone.
Hello, I am Melander the Fourth, architect and creator of what was once an esteemed castle. I would like the hero to help free my creation from this demon, and the hero just so happens to be the child of a dear friend. That should be enough. All right. Hmm. Oh, finally, you have arrived, young master. Oh, I see you're curious about your father. Allow me to re- Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Now, many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy. That is until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken seal. For many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy. That is until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us hostage. The dark heart take, took the dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. Now, there is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. I also promise I can words.
Well, for those who believe it, let's go ahead and give them some feedback. What did you all think of that, Reed?
Well, that middle section,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
mulligan, kind of mulligan
Mhm.
that. I feel like you already know that. Um, the first paragraph I thought was a wonderful delivery. I really liked the tone that you set. The timbre of your voice was real. Like I saw you, like I heard that like envision the game really well. So you painted a good picture with the tone that you read that with. Um,
Yeah.
what that last paragraph, because I feel like some people have taken it a couple of different ways. What is your vision for that? Like what were you
We
trying to deliver it as? Do you know what I mean?
we have reached the end of us walking around the castle, i.e. the tour, and before he sets out on this journey to help fix it, I'm giving him some final words.
Is there like would there be is it more of an informative tone or like again kind of a vague warning or a mysteriousness? Just if it's
Oh,
just final words and it's just a statement of fact, like okay, I for sure. But if there's supposed to be an air of any of those other things, I feel like that needs to be brought out a little bit more. So
and
maybe I'm missing it, but
informative with hints of mysterious.
okay,
Yes.
we'll pump up that mysteriousness then.
Okay.
linger a little bit more, pause a little bit more,
Mhm.
and maybe get even like closer, right? Like I had to get close to bring it down to the level I wanted. So maybe try that.
Hmm. All right.
Also, you did the stage thing where you just pushed through the delivery, even though you were all thrown off. You should just reset,
Yeah. I did.
and that's okay. Look, again, that works for stage. This isn't
Right.
stage though.
Been spending too much time around stage.
From the top, come on, you got
Okay.
this.
Hmm. Oh, finally. You have arrived, young master. Oh, I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy. That is until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. Now, there is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Much more coherent that time.
Yeah.
Much better, much more solid. Again, if you ever find yourself thrown off like that in the future, don't just push through. This is voiceover. Stop, regain your character, take it from the top, and give us the full on delivery, which I think this time you did. I'm going to open it up. What were your guys' impressions of that read?
Well, you definitely added more of an air of mystery to that ending line. So I appreciate that. Well done.
Hmm.
How are you feeling about the demon cursing the lands? Like, are you more like morose about it? Are you like angry? Like, how are you feeling about this dang old demon coming in?
Honestly, more sad and hopeless. Sad in the fact that one of my greatest creations was corrupt and on the brink of destruction, and hopeless as in I can't do a single thing about it.
Okay. Okay. No, I mean that tracks. That tracks for sure. Um, so woo.
Anyone else?
But Mel the Fourth was with us.
Pretty scrumptious vibes, dog.
Wow.
I saw
Yeah.
this character this time around a lot
af-
better.
yes.
Like
Appreciate
before,
it.
it was kind of crumbling from the first, because the wording from the second paragraph tripped you up last time, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
you kept it more solidly this time.
Yep. Smoothing it
Hmm.
all out. Absolutely fantastic. So I think we're good to
Appreciate
move along. Ariana, you're up.
Yeah. Um. Uh. So, please let me find the script. I'm going to, while the directing take I decided to go with this character is basically to play up on the desperation of like, this might be our final fight, like last siege, and we're relying on this one person.
All right. From the top, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up.
You
Heart was
nailed the
broken.
desperation. Like I I loved it. One of my only, I guess, nitpicks would be, and y'all are gonna have to help me because I'm not gonna use the right word, I don't think, but the rhythm of some of the sentences was the same. Like, the emotion may have changed, but the rhythm of them and where you like paused and things was kind of uh repeatable, if that makes sense. So just
Okay.
being careful not to get stuck in that pattern, because again, you nailed the desperation of it, like from beginning to end. So that was excellent. Loved that.
Mm.
Just be careful with your pattern rhythm pattern.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cadence
what?
is the
I,
word
Cadence.
you're
I,
looking
I
Thank
was
you.
for.
I was about to say yeah,
Cadence.
cadence.
Yeah.
I
Cadence.
wouldn't
It's
stop talking so you could correct me.
it's possible I might be off base here, but it seemed like you were letting your voice get shaky a
Yeah.
lot, and that kind of it felt like too much to me, too much of the shaky
Yeah.
voice.
Hmm.
And it sacrificed clarity in some places. I don't
Okay.
have a specific instance in mind because I was not looking at the script, but um so yeah, I think saving that for a spice rather than a consistent theme might be a better play.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's a tool to be used in a specific circumstance, and that was going to be my particular feedback for you was you relied really heavily on that when it doing that as frequently as you did reduced its impact quite a bit. It started sounding really repetitive because of it. So if you are going to use the shaky voice, make sure that it is, the I'm just about to cry or I'm on the verge of crying. Um, be very intentional with where you use it. Use it in a specific place. Most people don't communicate like that.
Hmm.
A
Right.
great way is to limit the shakiness to your second paragraph. This is just a suggestion, as this is where the architect is indeed recalling a tragedy in their history. One thing that I also wanted to comment on was, based on the direction up top, because of the shakiness of the voice, the two notes being mysterious and benevolent were kind of washed down to show more of the tragedy of what you are portraying. So I personally would love to hear more of this character being a mysterious figure for this that is helping out the player.
Something you could do, if you are particularly attached to the shaky voice, maybe let it in and then, as a character decision, stop, compose yourself, continue. And let that be a sort of break in the rhythm of the sentences. Let that be something that comes about as your character trying not to be overly emotional and trying to keep that under control for the sake of their dignified position or their pride or whatever decisions you want to make in that. But that could be something too. A way to add a little more humanity uh, to the character.
Okay.
From the top, whenever you're ready.
All right. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and with life and joy until the demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up. What did y'all think of that one?
So this is for Ariana. What with this new performance, can I ask what again, how did it feel? What went through your head? What was your process now based on this?
To keep the kind of uh, knowing that they're still in the position they are, and they have to keep that respectable air, even if they are desperate to call out to this person to take this on.
Okay. For me personally, that showed, that did show, and I when you took out the shakiness to your voice, it gave this character more of a regality, or in terms of a conversation, in terms of a status in conversation, more of the high ground in this conversation between you and the player. So I do like this take way better.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. Um, I don't have any specific points to make. I agree. I think it was better.
Also agree. Definitely more grounded compared to the first take, with
Okay.
refraining from the shakiness as much, not using it as a crutch, and using it more in terms of, dang, how do you describe that?
A
Balance?
spice.
A spice, yeah, a spice. That's a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, much more balanced out for sure.
We are
Okay.
missing a Michael still. He has abandoned us. Truly, we are lost.
Okay, opening it up.
We, but we
He
already did.
already opened it up.
Exactly.
I'll
Well,
keep opening it
given
up.
That wasn't Michael.
Sorry, what did
He
I
has
miss?
returned.
What
I
They
have
are
what
no
no
longer
idea
what
what's
forsaken.
going
happened?
on.
Evidently not open enough.
everyone liked the last take.
Open it wider.
Yeah, there were no specific changes requested or anything of the sort.
Okay. Ariana, how much experience in voiceover do you have?
I only have 3 years.
Okay. Okay.
Very young in
Well,
this.
that's perfectly fine. Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just so that I know exactly where you are. Um,
Okay.
I guess if because I trust a lot of the opinions of the people here. If they don't have any notes for you, then I'm gonna trust that. I think that I'm going to assume that you probably did fine with the last read. Sorry, I did have to step away real quick, but
Okay.
so if nobody has anything that they want to say, I guess we're moving it along, huh? Over to Cassidy.
Okay, let's see. Hmm. Well, I'm definitely thinking of like some sort of, as some of you put it, like ageless. Um, Perhaps a spirit of some sort. Definitely. I'm definitely getting like tutorial character. Yeah, this architect is definitely the tutorial character.
Like an NPC, but a very important NPC.
Yeah. and more than likely someone who the player will see throughout the story. Hmm. But that's not really a character. Like, that could be anything.
Okay.
Let's-
So you said your character is like they sort of ageless, right? They're kind of this spirit. So tell me about what you had already decided again.
Hmm. Yeah. And, like, they probably look fairly young, but are, like, way older than they actually are.
Okay. Okay. So you're much more experienced and wise than you look.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So who are you talking to?
I imagine that. I know this isn't the most original
Doesn't
idea,
have to be.
but yeah, it seems like I'm talking to Count Bluebeard's son.
Okay.
Just going off that, like, I see that you're curious about your father,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
introducing himself as Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant.
Okay. And what is your general overall tone with this? What's your overall feeling?
Hmm. Kind of mysterious and not super easy to get a read on,
Okay.
but still, like, definitely helpful.
Okay. Then, whenever you're ready, from the top.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. Well, if going for more of like an ethereal, disembodied, sort of mysterious sound, but still wanting to be helpful, um, Cassidy, your instincts are pretty on point here. That's kind of what I got from this. But I'm gonna open it up. And apparently the joke was from last time. I'm gonna open it way up. What did you all think of this?
This
um, it kind of gave me Princess Zelda. That's a good thing. It kind of gave me Princess Zelda. It did feel a little like stiff or unsure. Um, so I think maybe some stronger choices and really going all in on choices instead of maybe this, possibly that type remarks might help. Um, that's only really like that's the thing that I noticed is that it felt kind of unsteady.
also, it would help to differentiate the tone between the second and the last paragraph, because it sounded like you were in the same zone for both. It was hard to tell the difference between emotions if you were trying to.
All right. So, um, whenever you're ready, from the top.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
All right, thoughts?
Slow down. Some space between sentences or even in the middle of sentences could be good too, like breaking up clauses, that sort of thing. Um, it just kind of it ran together a little for me. Um, and if I'm off base on that, please call me out. But I just feel like you could take some space in places where you're maybe thinking about your words, or where there's that emotion that you're feeling. Um, I'm struggling with specific feedback tonight. I'm sorry.
You got to work on it. You got to get back into practice. I can't English tonight, so we're all kind of struggling with something, it seems. But yeah, we all cannot English. Indeed.
One of these days we got to do like a Simlish workout or something.
A similar. Boy, that would be
Takes the
interesting.
IELTS test on call.
But okay, I do agree, Cassidy, that you could slow it down just a bit more and give yourself a little bit more breaks in between sentences and some paragraph breaks as well. Um, that's going into the chaos practice routine. Okay, Andrew. So why don't you go ahead and give us the first paragraph again, but slow it down a little bit more and walk us through the scene that much more.
All right. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace.
Okay, I liked that. I'm going to open it up to what you guys thought.
I have
I
nothing
totally agree.
specific
I
to
love it.
request.
No
I
notes.
think it was good.
Same
Looks
here.
like Roddy's also given you a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
I love it.
I
No
love the
notes.
slow sync of the thumbs up.
Is that intentionally a Terminator reference? I have to wonder.
Oh dear.
All right. Well, Cassidy, yeah, I think that was the main change that I was definitely looking for. It was smoothed out a little bit more. Still a tad quick, but I mean, I'm not going to belabor the point too much because it was easier to follow along this time than it was with the previous ones.
Well, and
So-
depending on the style of the game, that might even be what they're after.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're giving you something to work with to give you something to work with, Cassidy. So overall, though, you did execute on it, and I think you did a fantastic job. So I'm very confident with moving along. Which we had a little bit of a change, so we are now on to Avalon.
Yes. James graciously swapped places with me. So, I also wanted to lean on the idea of pride, the architect having pride in this castle and the community that surrounds it. But not only the pride in what they have built and what they've helped build, but in the pride of what it could be. And the sort of, I saw it in its heyday, and I know it can be like that again. And complicating things is that the demon's curse wants this town to blow away entirely and just completely erase the memory of even the Bluebeard family. All gone. So yeah. I can go into greater detail if desired, but I don't want to hold things up too hard. Oh, finally! You've come, young master! Oh, I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. Opening it up. Any thoughts?
I thought that was very impressive. Maybe to be on the I don't know if this will count as bias, but I was identifying because wow, those hands. Anyway, that's the that's similar to what I've been envisioning for myself when I do my attempt. That kind of persona that you got
Mhm.
going for, and I personally really thought that was good,
Thank you.
really good. Personally, no critiques really.
Okay.
One of the only things that one of the only things that I would say is that last line, and again, maybe it's just my personal preference, but I would like to hear that slowed down a little bit, maybe a little bit more hush and whisper, if you will. You don't have to whisper, but
I
just
get you.
just to try something else out. I'm not saying it needed it, but just to try something else
Sure,
out.
sure. I did toy with the idea of it being a secret in that last line because I liked the idea that like the curse is listening and we can't be too overt. But what I wanted to opt for there was desperately trying to get the protagonist to trust me. So I was aiming for more of like, I know what I'm talking about. You
Sure.
need to listen.
Right.
Um so but I like it's tough because I like the secret angle a lot. Like as a consumer, I'm like, hell yes. We love a curse that listens.
Right.
But
So my feedback is actually I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. I don't think it needs to be slowed down. I actually think that a lot of what you gave was a little too belabored. Particularly, I noticed it really heavily in the middle paragraph because um, again, much like the way that Andrew did his delivery, it sounded more like you were giving secondhand information that you heard from someone else. It didn't sound like it was actually personally connected to you
yeah,
um, because it came off a little too overdramatic.
that was partly because I was losing the visualization of
Okay.
like what I had been working on earlier. I was losing it in that second paragraph, so it kind of yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, it's just and if that is the case, take the time to reset
Sure.
because again, you just kind of then slowed down quite a bit, and it felt like it was a really belabored um, slavishness to the voice you were trying to do versus the story you were trying to tell.
Right. Okay.
So,
Cool.
um, I would I would actually ask that you shorten it up a little bit, you button it up a little bit faster may actually help keep the visualizations going easier.
Sure. Okay.
Anybody
Excuse me.
else? Cool. Whenever you're ready, from the top.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, finally! You have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. I wonder if you guys have the same notes that I do. Go ahead, opening it up.
One of the only things for me, and James had mentioned it earlier, is in the middle section. The turn right there in like in the middle, life and joy. I feel like the tone of joy carried over and so for me personally, I'd like to see a bigger drop at that point, like a
Okay.
bigger turn, like, with life and joy until a demon, and take it however you want, but I feel like a bigger turn needs to happen there for me. I felt like it kind of melded together just a little bit.
Okay.
So, Avalon, is your character desperate about their situation?
Yes. That sounded very unsure. Yes, they are desperate. The story I had in my head when I was like working this out earlier is that the curse has been driving people away from the community for a long time. It's been ruining buildings, it's been rotting fields, it's been destroying the town and the castle bit by bit by bit. And the only reason that this steward, this architect is still here is because they're waiting for this heir to come home. They're waiting for the protagonist to arrive. The curse is also waiting for the protagonist to arrive to completely erase the family from existence at the same time it erases the town. Um, and the architect is like, I can help them beat the curse instead. I need them to do this because I don't want everything to go away. Um, and yeah, as far as like the physical setting, I was imagining like in the courtyard, fruitlessly tending to dying plants. Protagonist is like looking at a statue of their father, like a monument of sorts, and accidentally breaks something or drops something to get my attention. Not even to get my attention, but it does get my attention. And from there, I'm like explaining things as I look at the statue.
Mhm.
And so that turn is like a part of the statue is about the curse, is about the broken deal. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
So the only issue that I have here is that your entire delivery went from neutral, like I didn't feel much happiness to see this child or relief that they're here or anything like that. It was just kind of neutral and then went directly to desperation throughout the entire rest of it.
Okay.
So I need to hear you be more in the first paragraph. I need you to be more um, relieved that there might be some hope.
Okay.
In the second paragraph, I need you to be nostalgic to disappointed or to sad, to some kind of emotional change right there. And then at the end, the last sentence, or the very last sentence, you can bring up the desperation. But you were desperate from basically the moment you said happiness and peace. And that one note delivery is really difficult to follow along with.
Okay. Okay.
So
I
your
think in
character
the
needs to go
interest
on an
of
emotional journey.
right. I think in the interest of focusing on the acting, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the accent.
Okay. Then yeah, let just from the top, let's hear those emotions. I need you to be happy um, to see Bluebeard's son, and that
Right.
that there might be some hope that things could actually change, and then you can get desperate, but only at the end.
Right. Okay. Oh, finally! You've come, young master! I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many, many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things may be.
Okay. Better on the acting this time, for sure. Um, perhaps you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be. You
I
skipped there,
realized that at the
but
last minute.
but your performance and your emotional journey was much more defined this time around versus the last one.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I personally thought it was just overall an improvement. What did you guys think?
I second this. It's very dynamic.
Alrighty then. If nobody else has anything they'd like to say, then we're going to go ahead and move it along.
Most
Over to
excellent.
James.
I will be leaving, everybody. Have a wonderful
All right.
evening, and I will
Thank
see
you
you
for being
next
here.
time.
Take care.
See ya.
All right, my take on this is the character that's speaking is um, more of, and you guys probably picked this up on the cold read, more of the wizardly type. Um, um, Built the castle with magic, not necessarily by hand or hiring people to do it. He was a close friend of the main character's father, um, but maybe didn't start out that way because it does say that he was his loyal assistant, but over time grew the friendship grew. Um, so kind of took it as like almost Dumbledore speaking to the trio, in the movie series that, he's been around for a long time. He really knows a lot about a lot, um, but is a little, um, he doesn't get worked up over things very much. Ah, finally, you've come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Uh, Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes, and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
Okay, so I definitely got the wizened old man, mentor read from that, but my one nitpick on your performance is that in the middle paragraph, in the middle two sentences, you really broke that up. You got
Oh, okay.
almost stumbly with how much you broke up the entirety of the read.
Okay.
The rest of it wasn't quite that way, but it was just that middle paragraph until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. Like it's really,
Gotcha.
really broken up.
Okay.
And the thing is that's you need to tie that story all together. People will lose their place with that many breaks.
Okay.
So retake that middle paragraph for me, please.
Sure. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive.
Yeah, much more well tied together. What did you all think of that?
Wonderful. You had me totally invested.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I agreed with Michael's original kind of assessment there, with the kind of staccato choppiness, and that was remedied. So,
Cool.
So, James, how do you approach your reads?
I just kind of go for it, really. I mean, I
So it's
obviously
instinctual.
with a little bit of the analysis and that type of thing. But yeah, I kind of look at it and go, hmm. Like in this case, my cold read was this kind of sounds like a wizard, so I just kind of
Okay.
went that way
Okay.
with it.
Okay. So you just kind of have you just kind of feel your way through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that if that works for you, that works for you.
Does it work
um.
for me? I guess.
Well,
I
again,
guess if nobody else is,
I mean, yeah, you're
go
not
for it.
getting any other feedback, and you're
Yeah.
not getting you're not requested to change anything. And I think for the interest of time, I mean, you knocked it out of the park
Yeah.
initially. You have good instincts for this, and I know I've mentioned that to you before, but I just wanted to know kind of what was your process for actually like getting a character and kind of sticking to it, because I know that can be a struggle for some people, and I wanted to use you as an example, but I guess I can't because you
Yeah,
just wing it.
I'm with Mateo on this. I see words, mouth do sounds.
All right. Well, moving it right along then. Gorin, you
I
are
gotta get
up.
going too. It's late.
All
So,
right.
see
Take it easy,
everybody.
James. Thanks
Have
for being
fun.
here.
All right. All right, then, let's see. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life, joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. Now the dark heart takes root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And if you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
So, who was your character?
Okay, he's one of the cursed people of the town. When the demon came and he's cursed with like should I say undeath. He may not look like it, but he's a dead soul trapped where he is.
Okay. Okay. And who's the person you're talking to? How old are they? How would you describe them?
Uh this would be the first time he saw the person since they were a baby,
Okay.
because that's the broken deal. The
Oh, they
count,
are the broken deal. Okay.
yes, prosperity for the town, for the kid's soul. But then the baby got whisked away because he couldn't do it because the Count Bluebeard couldn't go through with it.
Okay.
And now
Okay.
the baby's back, all grown, and
All right. So I'm gonna open it up. What did you guys think of that reading? Okay.
I'll say it. I love the read. I loved it. I thought it came like, I think that's another thing. I think a lot of us didn't get the dreariness of like being cursed. And I think that read brought that of like, yeah, the somberness, I think. So I think that was a great read.
Consistently enthralling.
Hmm. Okay. Anybody else with anything they'd like to hear differently? Any changes? Any other feedback? Okay. Um, I again, it sounded like the entire like for much of at least that middle section and the end of the first section, like you were trying to hold back tears the whole time. And I don't know if that was an intentional choice. I don't know if that's specifically what you were going
It
for.
was.
It was okay.
Hmm.
Um, I think that was a little too much use of it. I think you could probably bring it down to something really specific, like um, starting at until a demon cursed these lands, and then the dark heart took root and holds us captive. I think you could probably really bring that out there, and it would have much more of an impact than crying while you're saying happiness and peace and life and joy.
Hmm.
So I'd like to hear you be really wistful, like nostalgic. You want to go back to the times where
Hmm.
of happiness and peace and where everything was full of life
Hmm.
and joy before you start really losing it, right?
Okay. Okay.
So why don't you go ahead and take it again from the top?
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. Now the dark heart takes root in this castle and holds us captive. There is a reason all things are as they are. And should you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, opening it up. What do you guys think of that one?
I have a question about so the person who is arriving at the castle,
Mhm.
they are actually a part of the broken deal, right? That's what it is. Like they're an
Yes.
integral part to the broken deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
He,
Um,
he, as a baby, was supposed to be given over to the demon
got it.
as part of town, as a deal for town prosperity.
Got it. Okay.
But the baby got sent away because Count Bluebeard just couldn't do it.
Sure.
And so
Classic
the curse.
scenario, right? The so if that's the case, like this person is talking to
Mhm.
this other person who is part of the broken deal, I feel like if that's the case, like, you know, I don't know how this particular person, the architect, feels about them personally, but like this person's life could have brought prosperity to this place. So I feel like that until a demon curse these lands is revenge for the broken deal. I feel like there needs to be something more there, a lot more depth, as whether that's like bitterness towards this person, like revenge for the broken deal because like you're a part of the broken deal, or
Mhm.
maybe lightening it up a little bit because you don't want them to worry about defaulting on the broken deal, or maybe they don't know about the broken deal yet.
Mhm.
I'm not sure, but I
Mhm.
feel like there should be a little more weightiness to that at least.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? So, Caitlin, what do you think?
How is
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so? How do you feel about this curse?
Well, I've been living with it for decades now, and it sucks.
It sucks. How do you feel about
Well,
it?
well, to be there but not truly alive, I guess.
So
Okay.
you just kind of grew
Not
numb
quite
to it?
sure how to explain. I didn't want to go into too many details. Just wanted
So you
to
just
know.
want to
No,
like,
I feel that.
you just like grew numb to it?
Probably unable to feel anything. As in
Okay,
like
because
sense
that's
of
coming
touch.
through.
Sense of touch, that is. No warmth, no cold, no feel of wood on the skin, that sort of thing.
He's just detached. And that's just your day to day now?
Yeah, he's basically a phantom, even though he doesn't look it.
Okay. Then can we, for that first sentence, can we just for like, even for that, just for that finally you've come, can we get a tiny bit more happiness? Not even happiness, just that smallest little spark of hope that maybe if I help you, I won't have to deal with this anymore.
Hmm. Okay. So kind of like finally, you have come, young master. Yes, no, maybe.
Approach it with the stuff.
Okay, how much
Right,
I
I
do
thought
want to
you
hear,
started
Ellis.
reading. I thought that was a good start.
Let's just go to about your father.
Okay. I see that you are curious about your father.
No,
No,
first
from
and
the
first and
top
second
two
paragraph.
about
Yeah,
your father.
top two
Oh,
about your father.
Yeah.
Hmm. What was that again?
From the top to about your father. So the first two sentences.
Okay. Finally, you have come, young master. I see you are. I see that you're curious about your father. Oh, okay.
All right, Ellis, what do you think?
I like that one more.
Hmm. Yeah. I like the contrast in that one personally.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think we're all good. That was really one of the main changes we wanted to hear, right? I'm going to take the silence as a yes.
I
All
thought there
right.
were other people being asked. I was like, yeah.
No, Ellis, you're on this. You're in the spotlight right now. We're focused on what
My
you want.
bad. I've got like it's been a crazy day, dog.
Hey, it's cool. We'll go ahead and move it along for now. Take a good. I like that. We'll keep it real simple. All right, moving along to Amanda.
You're welcome for your favorite. All right, so I finally made up my mind about what I wanted my character to be.
Okay, let's hear your character choice, who you're talking to, and how you feel about it.
Okay, so my architect was once like a young, hopeful apprentice. Like the castle that she made, their little sanctuary, that was like her magnum opus. And just like the people in that time of peace, she also was very happy and peaceful. But right now, she sort of lives with the trauma of the event. Like this Starkheart, this demon is her demon. She is upset. And the protagonist looks like the person she's talking to is the protagonist. Like she views him as like the town's only solace and is looking for hope. But at the same time, like as much as she's willing to pour her heart out to this person who might potentially be this beacon of hope, she kind of feels a little guilty, just trauma dumping on a total stranger. She's young, but she kind of felt like she had to grow up too soon. Finally, you've come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Oh, allow me to introduce myself. I'm the architect, Count Bluebeard's royal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of peace, of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. Cold heart took root in the castle and held us captive. There's a reason that all things are as they are. But did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what stranger things may be.
Okay, opening it up. What did you guys think?
Anyone?
Based on what I heard, what were you? Can I ask what's your character for this one?
Um, I think didn't I already? So my character is like this once a young, hopeful apprentice, now turned traumatized and shocked. She's looking for the person that she's talking to might just be their only solace. But at the same time, she kind of feels a little guilty for like, opening her heart to someone and just explaining just how she feels about her current situation with this person.
Hmm. I felt a lot of like as you went through your lines, I enjoyed showed how you showed um, that kind of caring, but also I heard some pity as well towards the player. Um, what I would love to hear a bit more, based again on direction, just like the last time, is let's add a bit more mystery to your character. I felt the benevolence. It was the need to help this player. It's there. Keep that. I want you to mark that. But now add a bit of mystique as well to to show that you still are holding a bit of the cards close to your chest. You're not giving the player too much information, because the way you did deliver the second line for me felt like you were giving the player everything, you know, giving the play. Um, Hold back a bit. Give me some mystery to this architect that you play.
And I take it the mystery is shown through restraint.
In any way you think that would work, I'd like to see that.
Okay, I'll give that a try. Oh, you finally come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's royal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary for happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy, until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in this castle and held us captive. There's a reason that all things are as they are. But did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand what strange things there may be.
Personally, for me, especially with how you delivered the last line, the mystery is there, and you still kept that caring benevolence as well. So for me, that was an absolute banger. Yeah, pack it and ship it.
Yeah, much
Thank
better
you.
this time around. Much better this time around.
Anybody else?
For the sake of my curiosity, um,
What a great way to start.
and we no, because that was a great read, and we technically don't need to do more. But I'm curious. Um, how how do you know the player? Like, what's your relationship with the player?
He's like, he's a stranger, but I feel like she has a feeling that she could probably trust him. She's someone that she's
Okay.
meeting for the first time. She's like, she doesn't exactly know. She's looking for some solace, but she doesn't really know who it is. She's not looking for a specific person. All I know is that she has like this feeling of, oh, this might be he has potential.
Okay. I ask because to me, those first two sentences came across as someone who you've known intimately for a long time, and it kind of clashes with the allow me to introduce myself. So can we, let's see. So can we get one where, I want to just turn it down a little bit to where, maybe you are happy to meet them or whatever, but you do not know who this is necessarily.
Oh, okay. So you just wanted me to read that specific
Yeah,
line?
just those two. That's gonna be my thing for today, by the way. Those two sentences. I've decided that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna focus on. Thanks.
Ah, okay. Thank you. Oh, finally. Finally. You've come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Oh, allow me, allow me to introduce myself. I'm the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary for happiness and peace.
Okay. I'm going right now. I'm freeing you of the burden of needing to impress anyone. Do it again, but relax. This is for you. Don't even think about me.
Finally, you've come, young master. I see you're curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of peace, of happiness and peace.
Okay, for me, that emotional space is a lot. Oh, I mess with it heavily. I almost cursed, but I didn't. But
Ellis, you already did earlier in the stream.
yeah, but that's different. That's in the past. Come on.
That's okay.
No, but you are you nervous?
Not really, but but I feel like I might be, and I just don't know it.
Because I don't know if maybe this is a Discord connection thing. Are you guys hearing some words that are like just popping out of existence?
Yeah, it's a
Not
Discord
even
thing.
popping out of existence. They're just not there.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
Discord.
like
It's Discord.
I wasn't really.
Okay.
I feel like I was just kind of like not reading the sentences as they are written.
Because I heard like allow me introduce myself, and then I heard a sanctuary of peace, of happiness and peace. And I
Well,
was like, that
here's the thing. Here's
could
the
be a
thing.
thing.
I think overall, though, what you gave,
No, it was
the
super great.
direction that you gave really worked, and I think the delivery really worked as well. So, um, we're like, I mean, we're way over time, and we still have
Oh, good
people that we
heavens.
got to keep getting to. So, I think in
Glad you
the
liked what
interest
you
of
heard.
time, we should continue on. But Amanda, I like what you gave, and I think you did a fantastic job.
Thank you so
So,
much.
up next is Jay.
Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until the demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are. And did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay, so in a short sentence each, who's your character? What's your relationship with who you're talking to, and how are you feeling?
I am the only non-magical being in the place. But it is my knowledge of the ancient texts and the ancient scrolls that puts me in the position that I am in as assistant to the captain. This person is the prophecy, and I have the I am trying to do things by the book. That's how I do things. And I'm not feeling great because I'm sick.
Okay. So, how do you approach your character creation when it comes to actually like weaving them into a script? How do you do that, Jay?
I look at the text and then I try to imagine what it would look like in my head. I block out the scene in my head and think if I don't have any pictures or artwork or anything to go by, I just make it up. Um, I know that everybody was going for, like a old wizened wizard or anything like that. So I thought I might try something different and go with a non-magical being, someone that doesn't have any of the magical talents. Because obviously, if they would have dealt with it themselves. They wouldn't be waiting for the player to come in and do all this that they have to do.
Okay. Okay.
I love that take. I love that take
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, because Jay, I don't really think I would have changed very much of what you did, to be completely fair. I think you were really spot on. Because before you even mentioned who you were, I could clearly see that from your delivery. Not necessarily the whole
Cool.
non-magical thing, but your relationship with who you're talking about and how you're feeling throughout the whole thing definitely came through. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit on exactly what your process was, so we can help. Maybe we can share some ideas to help uplift people.
My pleasure.
And yeah, rest that voice, man. Take it easy. All right, recover. Thank you for being here, though. All right, we're gonna go
I
ahead and
would
move it.
I thought perhaps in better in the last paragraph that stood out to me. I like the pause. It kept consistent with what you were going for. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
All right. Well,
I am going to go rest. It has been
yeah,
fun, guys.
go take it easy, man.
See you
Drink some
later.
warm fluids. Take care of that voice.
I will. Thanks, guys.
All right. Moving it right along. Zach, you're up.
Yippee. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is a reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. So I posted in the chat a little bit of answer these questions in one short sentence each. Who are you? What's your relationship with who you're talking to? And what were you feeling?
I am the one who, through weaving reality, created this castle as I had done many times before. Um, the castle is me, and I am the castle. I am tied to it intrinsically. So it affects me greatly what has happened. My relationship to the character is that I assisted their father, Count Bluebeard. And so now that they've returned to hopefully save this place, I've placed a great deal of importance and hope on that main character to save us from this. I am feeling hope, but also anger for what has happened. The dark heart is, as it was a tumor, in this castle. Being a part of me, it affects me greatly, and it angers me that this happened.
Okay. Opening it up, what did you guys think of the performance?
Based on what you have given, Zach, um, honestly, the I did feel the this eternal guardian of uh, the sanctuary. I felt that when you mentioned anger, I was trying to recall, especially with the second paragraph. I believe that's where it would
Mhm.
show the most, right?
Mhm.
I I personally did not feel the um, that frustration coming from the architect. If you wanted to go with that route,
Okay.
you can play it up a bit more. I want to see what you experiment with. But yeah, but aside from that, I would also love to hear you slow it down at the third sentence.
Mm.
This is where I can imagine you telling the player, you telling the young master, um, about the things that only you can see and only you know, um, and you can play this up as well. So yeah.
Okay. Great.
Um, my note was really just, can we tighten this up a little bit? Because right now, it's these tiny little pauses that make it seem almost like you aren't even sure what happened, and I don't know that that's what you're going for here.
Okay. So tighten it up a little.
Yeah, that was going to be my feedback too. Like,
Okay.
make sure that you control the time so that that staccato naturally goes away, and the
Hmm.
story you're trying to tell naturally comes out more.
Okay.
So from the top.
Great. Finally, you have come, young master. I see that you are curious about your father. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the architect, Count Bluebeard's loyal assistant. I created this castle as a sanctuary of happiness and peace. Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive. There is reason that all things are as they are, and did you see with my eyes and know with my knowledge, you would perhaps better understand of what strange things there may be.
Okay. So I think I know what the main thing that I'm hearing is that kind of bugs me is
Mm.
you spit out demon with this disgust, and then you
Mhm.
kind of stumble through the rest of the read until you pick it back up.
Okay.
So you can still add some disgust there, but I would really I would ask you to steer away from like spitting it out.
Okay.
Until a demon arrive, until a demon curse these lands as revenge, right? Like you can add it in there, but smooth it all out. So
Okay.
just take just that middle sentence. Just retake that.
Okay. Sounds good. Just the middle sentence in the paragraph?
Sorry, the middle paragraph. The
Okay.
middle paragraph. I meant the
Cool,
middle
cool.
section.
Many years ago, the streets of this town flourished with life and joy until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal. The dark heart took root in the castle and holds us captive.
Okay.
Less spitting.
You actually moved it over until a demon cursed these lands.
Uh,
I just want you to smooth that out. Until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal.
okay.
One solid delivery. Go
Sure.
for it.
All right.
Just that sentence.
All right. Until a demon cursed these lands as revenge for the broken deal.
Yeah, you could still very much so communicate that disgust without
Mm.
having to make it so poignant and prominent. And I
Hmm.
think that really did that.
Cool.
The rest of it was fine. You did a good job with the rest of the read. It was just that one section that kind of was the sore thumb sticking out of the rest of the read.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you tamped that down into place, and I think we're good to go ahead and call the stream here because it has been over 3 hours, which is
Huh.
an hour longer than what I tried to go for. We're trying here. Um, just real quick before we tie it all up, I want to thank all of our supporters over on Coffee for helping keep the lights on. If you do want to help us out, we do have a link that you can go check out. Depending on the level that you get access to our full script library, as well as a monthly meeting with myself and Carissa to help you out with your voiceover business. But if in the future, feel free to join us here. This is where you can actually get some working out done. If you're watching us over on Twitch or YouTube, feel free to jump in. We are going to end the stream, but that does not mean that we're done working out. We still have plenty of people to get to, so feel free to join us. But until then, we'll see you next time. Take it easy, everybody.
All right, adios.
Bye.